far.
Yeah, because they're not able to deal with them demons.
Yeah, they hold the game. No, how do we stop the game?
Yep.
No, but the elites, they actually do stuff like that, man. They get together and they use the Bible, okay, if you didn't know, on the left-hand side, okay, and then all these other demonic stuff, and then the demons actually manifest, man, and they have direct communication with Satan, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like you was talking about in ancient Egypt as well. They were practicing science on the left-hand side. There was a practice they used to do in ancient Egypt, right? And it's recorded in history, whereby just to see how if a woman was pregnant or not, they'd get a woman to urinate on a plant, and if the plant grew within a day, then they would say that woman was pregnant because she had fertile urine. Because that's bullshit. That's nothing but pseudoscience. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But because they were doing it on the left-hand side through witchcraft, basically.
Yeah, them Egyptians were heavy into that, man. You know. That's why they would like to say, oh yeah, I was talking to my woman the other day, man, it gave me a headache. She was talking about, Egyptians were the first people and how they created mathematics, they created chemistry and all of that stuff, you know, and physics, came from, Amun-Ra and the sun and the pyramids.
Yeah.
When you go back to it, Abraham had mathematics, man.
That's right.
You know, that's in the history, man.
And the quick thing, I just try and remember, they mentioned Imhotep. They said he was the father of medicine, and Egypt became great by him. That was Joseph.
Exactly.
That was Joseph.
Because it was our people that was up in those regions. Who built the pyramids, man?
Yeah, that's a spirit.
That's the thing. You talk about, and I remember back in the day, man, my aunties, they used to talk about, the pyramids, we were so smart and we built it, but who built it though? Was it the Egyptians or was it the Israelites? Okay? Because the scriptures say that we were what? The history tells us that we were slaves in that land, man. Okay, we were the ones that were building it. And then our forefather Joseph, he knew the Pharaoh. He knew the previous Pharaoh. That's why he was cool with him, and that's why we were cool with them. But then the new Pharaoh came, which didn't know Joseph, man, and they said, look, these people are growing. They're smart, okay? So before they take over us, let's put them in slavery. That's how we ended up in slavery in Egypt, man. Okay? But that knowledge of mathematics, that knowledge of chemistry and physics, astrology, those are the gifts that the Heavenly Father gave to our forefathers, man. Okay? And we're going to get that back in the kingdom, man.
And it was Joseph that made Egypt great. It was through him interpreting the dreams. And basically he was like underneath Pharaoh, and he set up all basically through his plans, the way he set it all up, he made Pharaoh even greater, man.
And that's the omen on, because Joseph is Yahweh's son. He will add. And what did Joseph do? He added to that kingdom, man. And he just made it great.
Yeah.
You know? They didn't make themselves great. He made it great, man.
Basically everybody had to go to Egypt for food, man. Because Egypt is the one that prepared for that famine.
Yeah.
And Egypt would not have prepared for that famine if it wasn't for Joseph.
Yeah.
You know?
Even they say, the script, I know it's somewhere in the Apocrypha, I forget where it is, but it talks about the machines, man. Okay, they'll have you thinking that, you know, Esau will throw up horrible histories on BBC One and have you thinking that they were just there banging two stones together. Like they were like that for 1,000,000 years, man.
Primitive age.
Primitive age. The scriptures talk about the great machines, man. Machines that we don't even have today. Okay? We've actually gone backwards to a certain degree, man.
Yeah, because I believe they cannot replicate the pyramids.
No way.
I think I've seen someone, they cannot replicate building the pyramids. Because what machines do they have that they can use to carry those weight of stones and put them one upon another and then get them to come, like they said, it was so hard to get the maths right to bring those pyramids to come and join together like accurately.
Because in engineering, you have something called the critical weight, man. All right, and the weight of leaning, meaning that you have a certain degree within 1 degree, between 0 and 1 degree. There's measurements that you can. There's it's called the measurement of variance, man. And if you're off by too much, that statue's gonna fall over, man. So how did they get it so precise that it's still standing to this day?
It's lucky as well. Even
mathematics, man.
It's lucky. And, even there's no coincidence that when the children of Israel left Egypt, no pyramids were built afterwards. Man. Yeah.
Exactly.
And the only other place where that's the spirit, because we were talking about that earlier. And the only other place where you see pyramids is where in the Americas. where he was at, man. You know, in Mexico and in South America, where Asher and Issachar were.
And what they used to do when you get into the history of them pyramids, we won't get the scriptures on it, but what they did was they layered those pyramids in gold, man, in gold and silver, and they positioned them in such a way that when the sun would rise and stand over it, it would just be like a brilliant, shining pyramid, man. Imagine gold shining off the sun, pure gold shining off the sun. It's us, that's us, man. That's our technology, man. Go on, man.
This is Jeremiah 10:16.
And so, like, you look at these Sudanese, because those are the Egyptians, man. These Sudanese, these dotish people, man. They're just out there in their own world, man. Them Hamites, man. They're in their own zone, man. They're not really with it, man. But you mean to tell me those people came up with the ideas to do this, man?
You know, I've been this one time. I met one guy. He's from one of those. He was one of those Hutu and Hutsi tribes. Yeah, and I asked him one time. He goes, "So your people were the ones who the ancient Egyptians?" He goes, "Yeah." So how come you guys don't say anything about it? And then his answer was like, "Well, we don't talk about it. White people teach that it was them, and there's nothing else you can do about it." So they know their history and they know how Esau portrays it, but they just left it because Esau was portrayed that way. Nothing else you can do about it. So that's it.
Just give it up.
Yeah. So the actual people are not claiming Egypt by what you call, who's that guy? Them American guys, they wanna go and claim Egypt. Polite name, but they wanna go and claim Egypt. You know. Another guy I went to school with. He's Egyptian, Arab Egyptian, and I used to speak to him about. I used to ask him about the black Egyptians and so on and so forth. He goes, yeah, when they're in school there. He says when they're in school there in Egypt, they learn about all these things. They go lots. They used to have lots of notes about it, and they used to know about the actual Egyptians or whatever, and they know that they're not the original Egyptians.
Yeah, of course, man. Even the hieroglyphics bear witness of that, man. The things that's there, man. The environment. Even what did Esau do? He goes over to Egypt because they would, outside of the pyramids, they would build statues of their faces, man, and you could see it was people with so-called broad noses and so-called black features or Hamitic features, man. But then they'll go there and chisel the noses off and stuff to make it.
But then he'll say they fell off.
Yeah, they fell off. Okay.
That's why when Napoleon went into Egypt, he shot off the prince's nose, shot it off.
Because it all bears, and that's why on certain pyramids you have the Lashwa and Kadash written, man. You have certain places where the name of the Lord is written, okay. The Shammai prayer is written, even over there in the Americas, man, where the Gad and Reuben, all right. They have the Shammai prayer written out there on stones, all right, in the Lashwa and Kadash, okay. Because wherever we go, we leave a trace of we were here, man. Yeah. Israel's known for that, okay. Even altars. Wherever we went, we used to build altars and call it after what the Lord did for us, man. All you gotta do is read that in when we were in the wilderness, man. Okay, the Lord Yahweh Nasai, the Lord our provider. Okay, Yahweh Rapha, the Lord our healer, and they would build an altar, write on it, and move on, man. But then Esau will go to these lands and be like, oh yeah, you see, and this is where they don't understand it, man.
Just real quick, because even nowadays Jake does that on a low level with graffiti. They'll spray their nickname on a wall just to prove that they were there. So yeah.
It's lucky, man. I'll just make a quick point. Another thing Esau likes to do is lie about what is created. For example, we know that the pyramids were created by the Israelites in Egypt, but yet you've got something in mass known as Pythagoras' theorem.
Oh yeah, I was going to talk
where he goes in. They attribute trigonometry.
Trigonometry, yeah.
To him. And also with music, like they say, oh, he's the one who created the concept of intervals and musical tones. Yeah. And I thought about this earlier because in the book of Daniel, you said Nebuchadnezzar set up his gold statue and all these different instruments used to play and everyone had to bow. So that proves that the Babylonians were before the Greeks, right? So that proves that the Greeks didn't come up with the concept of musical intervals. Furthermore, going back to Genesis, let me bring this out if I may. This is Genesis 4:20. It says, and Ada bare Jabal, and he was the father of such that dwell in tents and such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal, and he was the father of all such as handle the harp and the organ. So basically, the harp is a harmonic instrument, But if you read a lot of these music history books, they say that before the Greek Empire, all there was just rhythmic instruments, such as drums, which is complete lie. Because we know King David played a harp.
And even yeah, that when you get, because I learned the music and that, and you do music theory and stuff. Even the certain names they call it in, because the language of music is Italian.
So they say.
Well, so they say, but even that was Jake up there anyway.
Yeah.
But when you get into those like mezzo, forte, and pianissimo, and all these words, and you go back to who was actually doing it, it was Jake back then. You even read the Psalms. Some of the Psalms, after certain verses, it will say Selah. You ask some guy, what does that mean? It means a pause in a song. So it all shows you the musical notations even within the scriptures, man.
That's right.
You know? So this whole earth bears witness that what does the scripture say? We are the soul of the earth, man.
Yeah.
We're the vibration and the center of everything good, man.
It's lucky, man. I say one more thing. If you try and learn music in this society, in Eastern society, you have to go to like, Guild. If you want to be
Trinity,
good,
Guildhall, yeah.
Guildhall,
Yeah,
ABRSM.
yeah.
And when you start taking those exams, you start to think, hang on a minute, they've changed all the musical terms to European, like mezzo forte, pianissimo, regular forte. It's all Italian terms. And when I was learning this stuff, I was thinking, hang on a minute, am I actually learning music, or am I taking a test in European languages such as French, Italian, and German?
Yeah.
And Esau does that on purpose because he's trying to say that, we created that shit. But if they created that shit, why haven't you got an Edomite Stevie Wonder or an Edomite Prince?
They don't. That
music.
Yeah.
When you do the, cause I did that as well. When you do I learned the piano, man. When you do your theory, right? In your major and your minor chords, the scriptures speak about music being able to take demons off you and put demons on you, man.
That's right.
And when you get into there's the atonic music, you've got major chords, minor chords, and that affects your mood, man. Like the other day, I put some music on, right? On instrumental, and I was in a good mood, and then I started feeling sad. And it was because it was when I read it, oh shit, it's the chords, man. You know, so music has that ability to do that to you, man.
Yeah, because it's vibration.
It's all vibrations, man.
Because the major chords typically they're for happy songs, and the minor chords are for like more melancholic and sad songs.
And even that notation thing, my last point I'll make, that notation, because when you get into music score, all right, you've got different clefs, but the main one is the treble and the bass clef, right? And when you get into how it's written and stuff and the way you sing, all right, that all goes back to Jake, because in the so-called Judaism, you have something called a cantor, which is what singing the scriptures, man, in that atonic minor chord type of sound, man. That goes all the way back to King David, man. Okay, because there's certain prayers you would say, or the way you would read the Torah, and it would sound like you're singing. Like these Arabs, man, when they recite in the Quran, it sounds musical. Because that's that atonic minor sound. That all goes back to the scriptures and songs, man. So music, I mean, if you're talking about music, of all things music, that's Jake through and through, man. You know?
And it's a well-known fact who the musical people are on the face of the earth. It's all Jake. Jake is a musical group of people. So, I mean, it's no denying. You know, like you said, brother, very good point. You know, our traces left on the earth, and it will always remain on the earth, so to speak. But yeah, brother. Okay. Yeah, read on.
This is Jeremiah 10:16. It says, "The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name."
Because Jake came with every single thing that you can think about. Music. Okay, the idea of building, the idea of what else, man? Even food, clothing. Even when it comes to clothing, Jake is known to put on their best clothes. If they got the ability, they would do it, or even make the best stuff. So anything that Jake does, they far surpass.
Have to shine.
Yeah, they have to shine it out because
This will hard to the backward sideways.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Suit, we'll pimp it out, then put our own little,
Yeah, mix to it.
Yeah, we change the way you walk with,
Yeah. Everything's flavor with Jake. Everything's flavor. Go on,
It's
bro.
lucky, man. I say something. I can't remember which brother brought this out last. I was watching the video a week or two ago. But even the original cowboys were Jakes. And to be called a cowboy was like a derogatory term back then.
Right.
But now Esau's turned it around when you've got like guys like John Wayne or
Josie Wells.
they're supposed
Clint Eastwood.
they're the American heroes now. Whereas before it was really Jake who was doing that.
And also just to go back onto the music as well, there was a genre of music made over here in South London called dubstep, and a lot of people associate that dubstep with Edomites because the Edomites, they took it and butchered it, but it originally started in South London, in Croydon, with guys like Benga and Koki, and they were sampling dub reggae songs.
Goldie.
Yeah. And they were more mellow, but then Esau took it and just completely butchered it.
Samples, put a whole heap of sample into it.
And it's just, you know, when you think about music pretty much brings a vibration, like the brother was breaking down. You have different chords that can set up different moods and all of that. And then you also have you have the what you call the hertz.
Yes.
Right? So you have all of that stuff. So and it just goes to show you the reason why the earth is in a dire situation, because the wrong musical vibration is on the earth. They're singing a different song because the song of the earth is the wisdom and understanding of the Lord. Like right now, we're singing the song. We're actually singing the song here, and this is the song of the universe. It says in the scriptures that by his wisdom he created all things. So why would then you rule the earth with a wisdom that no one knows, that the Lord has not created the earth with? Go on, bro.
This is Matthew 5:13. It says, "Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost its savour, wherewith shall it be salted?"
Yeah. This Jake always adds flavor to the mix. If Jake wasn't in this Western Hemisphere, this Western Hemisphere would be boring as hell.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like people don't like Jake. Everybody hates Jake, but people just gotta listen to their music. Even if it's soul music, jazz music.
Yeah.
You know, all this nonsense music that Jake is pushing out there nowadays. People listen to our shit. You know why? Because it adds flavor to it. All right? It adds a positive or more an uplifting vibration to it. You know? When it comes to everything, not even just music, because see, society likes to, you know, marginalize Jake. Like Jake doesn't have any other form of talents. No, Jake has more talents than just making music and being entertainers. You see, but that's what society has conditioned all of us to accept. But that's not the truth. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't be out here doing what we're doing. Okay, and this is another reason as to why Esau wants to get rid of us, because we're showing we're showing something else that Esau does not want people to see. You see what I'm saying? We're showing you that we can get into the scriptures too. We're not only good at dancing, we're not only good at other things that society says we're good at, but we're also good at the Bible too. All right, which would make sense because we're the people that's of the Bible. We are the Bible.
That's right.
So if we're the people of the Bible, wouldn't we understand the Bible more than any other nation? Of course. Anyway, read what you got.
It's Deuteronomy 7:6. "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself."
Yeah, so the Lord created a nation of people unto himself. And they are going to be the people, obviously, of his book. No other nation. So it's like, I'm going to even go as far as saying this, right? If those people over there in Israel, if they're the real people of the Heavenly Father, then how come you don't see any prophets out there or out in the midst of the earth where they're at prophesying? I've never seen an Israeli out there prophesying, even in his own land, in his own country. Okay, I mean, I'm old enough to remember certain things. I don't remember seeing a so-called, you know, Israeli preaching the gospel. Why? Because they don't know the gospel and they're not of the gospel. They're going with the Talmud, but that's just because they're just heathen. They're just another nation. Yeah, we're the nation of the Bible. We're the Israelites. When you read about the Israelites, the story of Moses and the likes of the 12 tribes of Israel, you're reading about us. And it's much greater, and the evidence is getting greater and greater every day. And this is the main thing that Esau does not want us to do, is to come back to our nationality, because our nationality far surpasses everybody else's nationality. Because what we're finding out is that we're actually the people of the Most High. You don't get no bigger than that. Go on, bro.
Right.
Yeah. So if that's the case, like you said, brother, we're the people of the planet Earth. Because Esau wants to be in that high estate. That's all Esau wants. Esau don't really care about. This is why Esau shuns the truth, because what? The truth is in our favor. The truth has no place in Esau's heart. So what he will do is he will try to get rid of the truth as much as he can. As much as he can, he'll get rid of it. Go on, bro.
This is Isaiah 2:2. It says, "And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains."
Right. And that's gradually happening as it stands, because if you look around the earth, you have brothers all over the place. You have a GMS camp all over the world. So that house is gradually standing. It says that we should wake out of sleep in Revelation the 11th chapter. I'm roughly paraphrasing, right? And we shall stand upon our feet in the book of Thessalonians. The spirit of life will enter into us, and we will stand upon our feet and preach this gospel, preach this word, and so that the elect are sealed, okay, and then therefore all bets are up. Go on, man.
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Yeah, because that's eventually what's going to come down the hill anyway. Eventually the Lord is going to set us up above and beyond, put his spirit upon us, and so that so much the nations would have to come to the conclusion that, yeah, these are the sons of the living power. These are the people of God. The people that were once looked down upon, the inconsiderate, are going to be highly regarded and respected on the earth.
That's right.
It tells you that in Isaiah 45. Get the scripture in Isaiah 45 about the Hamites, where it says they shall come unto thee with chains. You're going, bro. Yeah, man, so that's where it's all going. So it doesn't really matter what the current estate is, or what estate that we are in. What matters is the end result. What is the end result going to be out of all of this mess out here? And the mess that Israel got themselves involved in. It's all going to end good at the end of the day anyway. Read on, brother.
This is Isaiah 45:14. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, the labor of Egypt, and merchandise of Ethiopia, and of the Sabians, men of stature shall come over unto thee, and they shall be thine. They shall come after thee, in chains they shall come over thee."
Right. So those Hamites, as great as they are in height and stature, they're going to come bound before us, the Israelites. And this is all going to take place when the kingdom of heaven is set up. When this society is destroyed and done with, the kingdom of heaven is going to be established. And all of these other nations, they're going to look towards the east, and they're going to see the new Jerusalem right in front of them, and they're going to see the glory and the aura of the Most High upon them. And they're going to have to admit and confess, man, y'all are the people of the Most High. Go on, bro. Because, mankind has been on a journey. And within this journey, mankind is, and I'm talking about all of these other nations, they have set up all kinds of philosophies and doctrines and belief systems. But guess what? The end result is going to be, everybody's going to revert back to square one. Everybody's going to revert back to the creator of Jacob. So if everybody's going to revert back to the creator of Jacob, who are they going to serve? They're going to serve us. No matter how way you look at it, it doesn't really make a difference. What Esau's doing, come on, man, it's a waste of time. Because everything's already written and preordained. I always talk about the term preordained. Yeah, even what Esau's doing right now with the media, he's bashing the Israelites, demonizing them, blaming this New Jersey shooting and linking it to us. And the reason why he's doing that, because the word of the Lord is getting to his heart, and he's pricked to the heart, and he can't stand us standing up upon our feet and claiming who we are. And Esau knows more about us than we know about us, because Esau done came to find out that you had a group of Israelites that was doing what we were doing in the 1800s. I mean, I don't know if they were doing what we were doing, but they knew you had a group of Jakes that knew they were Israelites back in the 1800s. I didn't know that, but see, it just goes to show you Esau knows everything. So Esau is more scared than anything else, because how did them Jakes back then know that they were Israelites back in the 1800s? They didn't have no computers, they didn't have no cell phones, they didn't have no libraries. The only book that they had back then was probably the Bible. That was it. But what it was the spirit of the Lord that enlightened these Jakes to come to the conclusion back in them times to realize that they are the children of the Most High. And people like Nat Turner. You see? So the same spirit that woke them brothers up back in those times is the same spirit that's waking us back up to this truth. And Esau can't do anything about it. And that's why they're scared. Because they got the history. They know our history very well. And they know when there were times when we didn't know the truth. And when the Lord came and pretty much supped with us and gave us the word of wisdom, understanding of life. Okay, he knows that. Go on, bro.
This is Isaiah 60 and verse 9. Surely these isles shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish first, to bring their sons from afar.
Yeah,
there's silver and the gold with them, unto the name of the Lord thy power, and to the Holy One of Israel, because he hath glorified thee. Right,
because he hath glorified thee. So when it's all said and done, we're going to get those nations under us. And they're going to bring all of their resources and their goods to us. It's all written. Everything's all written. Because if those people over there in Israeli land, if they're the people of the Most High, these prophecies would follow suit today. How come they don't follow suit today? Because they are not the people. And just by what we're going through right now, brothers, being demonized on the media, that's happening to us. What did Yahweh Shai say? Yahweh Shai said, look, no servant is greater than his master. If the world hated me, then they would hate you. And he was persecuted of the world. So therefore, we're going to be persecuted in this world. Okay? And speaking of Yahweh Shai, they don't even believe in Yahweh Shai. Them so-called Jews, man. Go on, man.
Verse 10, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their king shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Right, so in the Lord's wrath he has smote us, and in his favor he will have mercy upon us. Because the reason why these nations were able to get a leg up above us is because of the Lord allowed it. Whatever the Lord allows, it is to be done. Whatever the Lord disallows, it is not going to be done. And what the Lord disallows for Esau is to prolong his world, prolong his rulership. All right? And what's allowed nowadays is for Israel to get a chance of being reconciled back to their father again, onto salvation. And Esau can't do nothing about that. No matter how much Esau tries to demonize us, we already got our minds set and prepared for what's to go down. Esau is a mile away. Okay? Because what went down in New Jersey, it was all a farce. It was fake. That's why I put a clip on my channel. What is it? 28. It was 28 seconds long. And the mayor of New Jersey came out and he slipped. He said, "Look, we don't know. We don't have the liberty to know." Roughly paraphrasing, he said, "What's going on with the victims and the actors?" That's what he said. It was all an act. It was a psychological operation, so that he can gauge the majority of the people that hate us. And I was watching. There was a video that Apostle Hall put out, and there's a lot of jakes, man, that weren't really hearing about what happened. They wouldn't really accept it. A lot of jakes were saying it was fake. It's a side, it's all of that, because that's what Esau does. At first, before they attack you, before they kill you, they demonize you in the media. And that's what they did to the Muslims back in 2001. 9/11, they blamed 9/11 on the Muslims, right? And they went down there, and ever since that point, Islam has been getting a bad name. So they're using that same tactic on us now. They're demonizing the Israelites just so they can pursue us and persecute us.
I was seeing some of that as well, man. All these social media people talking about it. There's some people there like, okay, now that we know this guy was linked to the Hebrew Israelites,
yeah.
And then there's guys that are like, okay, now that we know that these terrorists were linked to the Hebrew Israelites, now let's work very hard to shut them down.
Right.
And then you go, half the people that are refusing to believe in it. Like, nah, man, this has to be a false flag, man.
Yeah. Because we live in a more, we live in a technological world now, and people are much more sophisticated. So people are very aware of the tricks of the governments around the world that they're involved in, right? And the main thing that Esau likes to do is stage cyber attacks. Blame, so that people can then gauge their emotions against a group of people so that you can dislike them. And once you dislike this group of people, they'll then find a reason to come down and hunt you down. You know?
Yeah.
That's why it's called a psychological operation, because what they do is what Esau does is with his media. That's why Esau uses his media to trigger your psyche, which the word psyche goes back to the word soul. So Esau studied the soul, and he knows how to operate the soul and to gauge the emotions of the people. You see? So what Esau's doing now, that's what he's doing with us.
When they show the comments from the people that are giving their opinions, you see on the news when they report something and then they'll take particular comments, right? This person said this, and then they'll only pick up particular comments of certain views of certain guys, man, in the direction where they want it to be. But when you actually go on those news articles and then you read the rest of the comments, it's all kinds of people, man, giving all kinds of different opinions, man. I remember one time it was Lewis Hamilton, when I think he recorded his little nephew or something wearing a pink dress, and he said to the boy, boys don't wear fairy tale dresses or whatever. And then when the news came up, when they picked up the people that spoke against Lewis Hamilton, right? But when you go on the different news articles and you check, people were agreeing with him, man. I don't care what you say, boys do not wear pink little dresses, man. You know, but on the news they're only taking out just those little negative, you know, what you call that, man, comments, so that they can write that negative article against him. But about 80% of the people that were on there, man, were agreeing with him, man.
They agreed.
They were agreeing with him.
But you see, but this is the thing. But see back 40 years ago, or maybe 50 years ago, or not even maybe not that long. Even we can even take it to like the 90s or the 80s. Back in those times, they could use the media, and the psychological operation would be more effective. But nowadays, we live in an age where information is vast. Everybody has their internet. Everybody has their phone. So let's say if something does go down, people are gonna pull out their phones and post it on YouTube or whatever they post on, right? But if there's a cyber attack that occurs, that happens, and it's only a select few of people. There's only a select few of people that have actually were able to record it. Then something's off. Especially if it happened in a major city, because what is it, Jersey City, the area where it happened in. That's a major area where there's a lot of people live there. So if it was a true situation, man, there'd be all kind of jakes pulling out their phones and putting it on social media. All right. That's how that goes down. So, yeah. Anyway, keep going, bro.
So Revelation 12 and 12. So Revelation 12 and 12 says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time."
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Esau, and I mean, in the defense, they have to do what they got to do. Now, I think it's because he's stuck in there.
Yeah, it's a closed road, and they're asking him why he's found himself there.
Yeah. So I mean, in Esau's defense, they have to do what they got to do, because it's time. Time is running out. Time is running out, so they have to do what they got to do, man. You know, go on, bro.
I say, it's time out, man. Esau is back in the corner now. Everything is on the downhill slope. And we are like that last. I was watching that movie, what you call that, the mutant ones, X-Men. The X-Men, the last stand. So this is Esau's now, because the final attempts now to fight to save his kingdom. You know?
And it's like this, man. And it's like I always say, if you've been sitting high on your horse for 500 years. You've been living deliciously, and because of that, you've been able to get away with a lot of stuff, right? All of a sudden, now you got nobody's telling you, oh, you're gonna be our slaves. Of course, they're gonna be upset. Of course, they're gonna try and do everything in their power to manipulate their way, right? To get the people engaged, to accept what they're putting out.